Security dragged a black CEO off the plane hours later. She pulled $4, 9B, from the airline. Hello everyone, before we begin today's video, I need your help. We've noticed that the channel is losing traction, and subscribing is one of the best ways you can help us. It's quick, free, and allows us to continue bringing you great content. Your support means everything. Let's keep this channel growing collectively. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now let's get back to the story. Step away from the gate, ma'am. The words cut through the airport noise sharp official final. Two security officers close in before anyone understands what's happening. At the center stands a woman in a coral dress. Calm, composed, phone pressed to her ear. No jewelry, no entourage, just quiet power, the kind that makes people nervous. Above her, the sign reads B7 First Class. A manager in a navy blazer points toward her like he's identifying a suspect. That's her. She tried to access the VIP area with a fake pass. The crowd stirs. Phones lift. Somewhere a child stops talking. The hum of the terminal fades to one cold frequency judgment. She doesn't resist, doesn't argue. Into the phone, she says softly, "Yes, I'm here." Her voice doesn't shake. It lands heavy, measured. One officer mutters, "She's not even arguing." The other replies, "She doesn't have to." Behind the rope, passengers watch like jurors. She tried to sneak into first class, someone says confident wrong. Amara Blake knows better than to explain herself to noise. She's learned that silence can hit harder than shouting. She lowers her phone, looks straight at them. "You're making a mistake." The manager steps closer, chin high. "Then you can explain it in the interview room." Click. The sound of a cuff, half drawn. Not yet locked, but close. Her heartbeat stays steady. At 24, she'd missed an investor meeting after a random inspection. That was the day she realized suspicion has a color. Now, 38, she stands unshaken, her calm louder than panic. The air thickens. A young flight attendant steps forward. Her pass scanned green, she says quietly. The manager cuts her off. "Stay out of this." Before anyone breathes again, Amara lifts her eyes to the ceiling camera. The red light blinks, recording waiting. Into her phone, she speaks once more. "Begin recording. Protocol 7. No one in the terminal knows what that means. But somewhere in a corporate server miles away, an alert goes live. Before we continue, where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. And if you believe in dignity and justice, hit like and subscribe. These stories spark change, and we're glad you're here. Now, back to Amara Blake, because the next 10 minutes will turn this airport into a courtroom. And every witness here is about to learn what real power looks like. The handcuff never clicks. It just hangs there, an inch of metal, a lifetime of disrespect. The manager folds his arms. "We can do this the easy way or the hard way." Amara looks at him, not angry, not afraid, just tired of repetition. "You've already chosen the hard way," she says. Around them, the gate fills with murmurs. A woman whispers. She didn't even raise her voice. A man nearby chuckles. That's how guilt looks. Phones rise higher. Screens glow like tiny verdicts. A security officer gestures. "Ma'am, step aside." Amara takes one step, deliberate, calm. "Fine. But I suggest you check your system before you embarrass your company." The manager scoffs. "You think name-dropping will save you?" "I didn't drop a name," she answers. "You did." One of the officers radios in a code. Static crackles. The gate agents glance nervously. In the corner, a flight attendant trainee fumbles with her tablet, scrolling fast. Her lips move. "Blake. Amara Blake." Her eyes widen. She whispers, "Oh my God." Meanwhile, the airport PA announces another flight boarding. Gate B7 stands still, a theater of tension under fluorescent lights. The manager leans close. "You people always think the rules don't apply." Amara tilts her head. "Define you people." His mouth opens, then freezes. Silence. Heavy, sharp, unforgiving. Her phone buzzes once. A quiet vibration only she hears. A message flashes. "Protocol 7 active. Recording verified. Legal team monitoring." She exhales. Controlled. Intentional. One officer notices her composure and hesitates. "Do you have ID?" She hands over a sleek black card. No logo. Just her name engraved in platinum letters. He flips it once, unsure what he's holding. "What is this?" "Proof," she says. The manager grabs the card, glances at it, laughs dryly. "Nice prop. Must have cost you $20 online." Her smile fades slow and dangerous. "And ignorance cost you everything." The trainee steps forward, trembling. "Sir, she's cleared. Her ticket, her ID, it's real." It's all in the system. The manager snaps, "Stay in your lane." But the crowd has already shifted. People murmur. A camera light blinks red. Amara stands motionless, the still point in a spinning world. "Are we done?" she asks quietly. The manager exhales through his nose. "Not until security escorts you out." She nods once. "Then let's make sure everyone sees how your company handles shareholders." The officer frowns. "Shareholders," she meets his eyes. "Oh, we'll get there." And just like that, the tension cracks again, not loud but seismic. Because for the first time, the room isn't sure who's in control. The silence after her last line doesn't fade, it deepens. Every whisper at Gate B7 dies under the weight of uncertainty. Even the boarding announcements seem to hesitate, as if the airport itself wants to hear what happens next. The manager clears his throat, forcing authority back into his voice. "Security, remove her." But his command sounds thin, a performance, not power. One of the officers hesitates. "Sir, maybe we should double-check." "Do it," the manager snaps. "She's wasting our time." Amara doesn't move. Her phone stays in her palm screen dark, still recording. She looks at the crowd, the quiet audience of strangers turned witnesses. Then she speaks calm and cutting. "You're right about one thing. Time is expensive, and you're about to run out of it." The younger officer steps closer, cautious. "Ma'am, please cooperate." She lifts her eyes, voice steady. "I already am." Behind the counter, the trainee scrolls again, her hands trembling. "Sir, it says here she's not just cleared, she's priority flagged by corporate." The manager glares. "That's a system glitch." "No," she says louder, finding her courage. "It's not." Phones record from every angle now. The red lights look like a constellation of judgment. The manager shifts his tie, realizing too late that this isn't just a scene, it's evidence. "Enough," he says. "We're ending this." He reaches for Amara's arm. The officer between them raises a hand. "Don't touch her." That single gesture changes everything. The crowd exhales a collective sound of relief and disbelief. Amara tilts her head slightly, almost a nod of respect. She speaks again, quiet but absolute protocol, 7 Phase 2. Her voice barely above a whisper, yet the words carry. Her smartwatch vibrates once. Somewhere across the terminal, a laptop chimes a live alert from Orion Holdings' corporate security division. A voice answers through her earpiece, "Miss Blake. Internal verification complete. Full compliance log transmitted." "You're cleared," she replies, eyes still locked on the manager. "Good. Then keep recording." The manager's phone buzzes next, a notification he doesn't expect. "Incoming call, Orion Holdings Corporate Ethics Board." He stares at it, pale. Amara's expression doesn't change. "You wanted proof," she says softly. "Well, now proof wants you." The crowd murmurs. Someone claps once, hesitant, then twice. The sound grows. The manager takes a step back, color draining from his face. Because suddenly he isn't detaining a passenger. He's standing in front of his employer. And Amara Blake, still calm, still flawless in her silence, has just turned Gate B7 into a reckoning. The call still buzzes on the manager's phone, tinny insistent like a siren only he can hear. He doesn't answer. He can't. Because every eye in Gate B7 is now watching him, not her. Amara Blake doesn't speak. She doesn't need to. She simply folds her arms, waiting the kind of waiting that feels like judgment. Her coral sleeve catches the fluorescent light, a quiet flame in a room full of cold faces. Finally, the officer nearest to her clears his throat. "Sir, what's going on?" The manager swallows hard. It's nothing." But the lie sounds thin. The crowd feels it. A child whispers to his mother. "She's the boss, isn't she?" The mother doesn't answer. She just nods slowly. Amara taps her watch once. Her phone vibrates. Then a woman's voice echoes softly through the speaker. "Miss Blake, this is corporate legal. We're on a live channel. Do you want to proceed?" She glances at the officers. "Yes, proceed." A low hum of tension rolls through the terminal. The screen behind the counter flickers, system reboot. Then for a split second, her name appears across the gate display, "Priority Boarding, a Blake Orion Holdings." Gasps ripple through the passengers. The trainee covers her mouth. The manager's jaw tightens as if he could hold back reality by force. "Wait," he says, voice cracking. This can't be." Amara cuts him off with a look sharp enough to silence an engine. "You questioned my right to stand here. Now you can explain yours." The older officer steps back, lowering his radio. "Ma'am, my apologies." She nods once. "Not to me. To the system you just exposed." The terminal is a courtroom now, just like she said it would be. Every phone, a witness, every passenger, a juror. and the verdict is already forming in their eyes. Amara speaks again, measured, precise. You detained a woman for being calm, confident, and black. You called that suspicion. I call it standard procedure, and it ends today. The trainee steps forward, voice trembling. I'm sorry, ma'am. I should have spoken sooner. You did, Amara says, and that's how change begins. The manager looks cornered, pale eyes darting between the badge on his chest and the cameras around him. He mutters, I didn't know who you were. Amara's tone softens, but her words strike clean. That's the point. Respect shouldn't depend on recognition. For a long, suspended moment, no one moves. Then her phone buzzes again. Miss Blake, the voice on the line, says, calm, formal, unshakable, corporate confirms. You are now authorized to take administrative control of all staff involved in this incident. She exhales, slow, deliberate. Good, she says. Let's begin. And just like that, power shifts, quiet, unstoppable, absolute. Her voice doesn't rise. It doesn't need to. Effective immediately, Amara says, calm as ever, Gate B7 operations are suspended for review. The words land like verdicts. One by one heads turn toward her passengers, officers, staff, as if gravity itself has changed direction. The manager stammers, You can't just, I already did. Behind her, the trainee straightens her posture, eyes wide but steady now. The older officer steps aside, almost deferential. Even the overhead speaker hums with static, as though the building itself is listening. Her phone vibrates again. A new voice comes through, male, firm, corporate. Miss Blake, this is David Ross from Orion's Ethics Board. We're streaming the incident live for internal audit. You have authorization to proceed with disciplinary actions. She nods slightly, her tone even sharper now. Then log the following: manager of Gate B7 suspended pending investigation. The manager's face drains. You can't suspend me, he says, voice cracking under the pressure. Amara's gaze doesn't waver. You did that yourself when you confused authority with arrogance. The words echo across the concourse. Passengers who'd been filming lower their phones, not out of boredom but respect. One woman whispers, she just shut him down without shouting. Another murmurs, that's real power. The trainee, young, still trembling, looks at Amara. Ma'am, what should I do? Amara turns to her eyes, softening. You document. Every word, every order, every silence. Justice needs witnesses. The officer holding the half-locked cuff steps forward, guilt heavy in his voice. I shouldn't have reached for you. Amara studies him not unkindly. Then learn from it. Next time, reach for the truth first. Her watch chimes again. A notification glows, live broadcast-enabled Orion security feed. Somewhere above them, cameras pivot, angles shift. The entire scene, once a misunderstanding, is now a case study in accountability. The manager mutters under his breath, this is ridiculous. She's turning this into a show. Amara hears it. She turns just enough for her voice to slice through the air. No, you turned it into a spectacle the moment you called dignity a threat. A murmur of agreement ripples through the passengers. The power dynamic has flipped completely, and everyone can feel it. Amara glances at the officers, then at the crowd. I'm not here to humiliate anyone, she says. I'm here to remind you that bias has a cost, and today, it's overdue. The manager drops his gaze, cornered by his own silence. Amara looks at her phone one last time. Phase 3 initiated, she says. Somewhere a server blinks to life, and the quiet storm she started begins to spread through every gate in the terminal. The hum of the airport shifts, not louder, sharper. Somewhere a digital chime echoes through the PA system. Gate B7's monitors flicker, then freeze. Passengers glance around, whispering. What's happening? Is this part of it? Amara stands still, hands clasped in front of her like she's orchestrating the silence itself. Her phone screen glows. Protocol 7, Phase 3 network lockdown initiated. Behind the counter, the trainee gasps. The system, it's locked me out. Amara doesn't look up. That's the audit taking control. Let it run. The manager steps forward, panic breaking through his voice. You can't shut down a federal system. You don't have the authority. Amara meets his eyes. You said the same about walking through this gate. Look how that turned out. The officer beside him whispers into his radio, but all he gets is static. The lockdown has reached the security channel, too. Every monitor in sight now displays a message in Orion Blue, live ethics review internal audit active. The crowd stirs, realizing they're witnessing something far beyond a scene. This is exposure. A woman with a stroller murmurs. She's not fighting the system. She is the system. The line spreads like electricity. Amara turns slightly toward the cameras above. Her tone drops low, the calm before thunder. Bias hides in procedure. That's where it feels safest. Today we clean the code. Her phone buzzes again. A voice comes through her earpiece, clear, composed, Miss Blake, full documentation uploaded. Incident classified as Level 4 breach. HR and legal are en route. Good, she says. Make sure every training module hears this recording. The manager stumbles back. You planned this. She tilts her head. No, you did. I just stopped pretending it was acceptable. His mouth opens, but no sound comes out. The crowd's phones catch every second the sweat on his brow, the tremor in his hands, the quiet collapse of undeserved power. The trainee finally steps away from the counter, closer to Amara. They'll try to blame you, she whispers. Amara smiles faintly. They've tried before. It never works for long. At the far end of the terminal, a team of Orion representatives arrives, sleek suits, calm expressions. They walk with purpose, scanning the scene like surgeons entering an operating room. One of them nods toward Amara. Miss Blake control has been transferred. We'll take it from here. She shakes her head gently. No, they'll take it from here. She gestures toward the passengers, the witnesses, the phones, the eyes that refuse to look away. This isn't about control. It's about clarity. The crowd stays silent. The lights overhead flicker once, then stabilize. The lockdown ends not with chaos, but with order restored under new hands. And as the last system beep fades, Amara Blake stands where it all began, unmoved, undefeated, unmistakably in charge. The Orion team fans out across Gate B, 7 tablets glowing in hand. Passengers edge closer but stay quiet. It feels like watching history tidy up after itself. A tall woman in a slate-gray suit steps forward, Carla Bennett, Chief of Corporate Ethics. Her heels click once, twice, and the air sharpens. Miss Blake, she says, voice crisp, we've confirmed the report. All visual feeds are secure. Every second is being archived. Amara nods, her tone steady. Good. Then let's make sure it's not just archived, it's taught. The manager tries to speak, but the words scrape out unevenly. I was following policy. Carla turns to him, one eyebrow raised. Which policy authorizes racial profiling, Mr. Reynolds? He swallows, eyes darting to the cameras. No, that's not. I mean, Amara cuts in, gently surgical with her words. You meant that my calm didn't fit your idea of innocence. The officer who almost cuffed her shifts his weight. Ma'am, I made the same assumption. She looks at him not unkindly. And what did it cost you? He answers softly. Respect. For a moment, the concourse feels smaller, like the whole world has leaned in to listen. The crowd isn't angry anymore, they're learning. Carla gestures toward the trainee. You, what's your name? Dana Reyes, ma'am. You spoke up when others didn't. Consider this your formal commendation. Effective immediately, you're being transferred to our corporate training division. Dana blinks, stunned. I thank you. Amara nods toward her. You didn't just help me, Dana. You reset a standard. Across the gate, the screens update, temporary closure bias audit in progress. Passengers begin to clap softly at first, then louder until it fills the space like a low drumbeat of justice. The manager's badge blinks red. His access terminated. Carla turns to him one last time. You'll receive documentation of your suspension within the hour. Security will escort you to HR for debrief. He nods defeated. Amara studies him, expression unreadably. This could have been a conversation, she says quietly. But you chose confrontation. That's the part we'll never unlearn. Carla closes her tablet. Miss Blake, your flight is still waiting. Do you wish to board? Amara glances toward the gate, the same door she was denied minutes ago. Not yet, she replies. There's one last thing. She steps to the counter, turns to the crowd, and lifts her voice just enough to carry. Justice isn't a department. It's a daily audit, and it starts with us. The clapping grows again, steadier this time, not applause for spectacle, but affirmation. In that sound, Amara hears what she's been building her whole life. For the first time in 20 minutes, the air at Gate B7 feels breathable again. Phones lower. People stop whispering. Even the overhead announcements seem softer, almost respectful. Amara stands where it began, the same spot, the same light, but everything else has shifted. She's not a suspect anymore. She's the center of gravity. Carla Bennett closes her tablet and gives a curt nod. Incident fully logged. Damage control already in motion. Amara's response is quiet. It's not damage control. It's culture repair. Dana, the trainee, lingers nearby, clutching her new ID badge, still wide-eyed. Ma'am, I didn't think anyone would believe me if I spoke up. Amara turns to her. Courage doesn't wait for permission. She rests a hand briefly on the young woman's shoulder, steady grounding. The manager, escorted by an officer, passes behind them. His face is drained of color, eyes unfocused. No one cheers. No one mocks him. Justice doesn't need an audience, only a record. Amara watches him go, then murmurs to Carla, "Make sure the report includes training recommendations, not just termination." Carla tilts her head. "Still merciful." "Still efficient," Amara corrects. A small group of passengers approaches a mother with her teenage son, an older man in a business suit, a woman in a flight attendant's uniform. The mother speaks first. "I'm sorry for what happened. My son, he saw everything." Amara nods. Then he saw how dignity defends itself. The boy whispers, "You didn't even yell." Amara smiles faintly. Yelling is loud. Power is clear. Carla's earpiece crackles. "Miss Bennett, corporate PR, wants a statement." Carla looks to Amara. "Do you want to say something on record?" Amara shakes her head. "The footage speaks better than I ever could." She glances up, the cameras still blink red. For a brief moment, her reflection stares back from the terminal window, calm, posture composed, face the quiet confidence of someone who spent years preparing for this exact injustice. Then, softly, "At 16, I was told to step aside in a hotel lobby I'd paid for. At 24, I was pulled from a boarding line for a random check. Today, I didn't step aside. I stepped through." Carla watches, expression unreadable, somewhere between pride and awe. A nearby passenger catches it on her phone, whispering she turned humiliation into a masterclass. Amara adjusts her blazer, takes one last look at the crowd and says, "Make sure the gates stay open, not just the physical ones." And with that, she walks past the security line that once tried to stop her. No cameras follow now. They don't need to. The story has already gone live, not as a scandal, but as a standard. Justice isn't loud tonight. It's walking calmly toward gate B7, boarding her own flight home. The boarding gate opens with a soft chime. Flight attendants stand straighter when they see her coming. No one checks her ticket this time. No one questions the calm in her step. Amara walks down the jet bridge alone. Each footfall echoes, not heavy, not angry, just certain. The metal hum beneath her heels sounds like a verdict finally delivered. Inside the cabin, first class is silent. A few passengers glance up, recognition flickering in their eyes. They've seen her face on the terminal screens. They shift, not from fear, from respect. She places her carry-on in the overhead compartment, slides into her seat by the window. Through the oval glass, she can still see gate B7, small, now distant, like a stage after the curtain falls. The captain's voice hums over the intercom. "Ladies and gentlemen, we're honored to have a special passenger on board this evening. Please make her feel welcome. No name, no title, just acknowledgement." Applause ripples softly through the cabin. Amara smiles once, then looks away. She opens her phone, unread messages flood the screen. "Orion board, proud of your composure. Legal statement drafted if you wish. PR footage trending in real time." She scrolls past all of them, then opens one saved text from years ago from her mother. "When they look at you like you don't belong, remember you're already home." A flight attendant kneels beside her. "Miss Blake, can I get you anything before takeoff?" Amara says softly, and a moment of quiet. The attendant nods, steps away. Outside, runway lights stretch in two perfect lines, endless, unblinking. As the engines start to roll, Amara's reflection trembles slightly in the window. She sees the same calm face that stood in that lobby, in that boardroom, in that terminal, but now it carries something new: completion. She exhales, whispering to no one. Every gate they close becomes a lesson they pay for. The plane begins to move. Cabin lights dim. Somewhere behind her, a passenger murmurs. That's her, the CEO. Amara doesn't turn. She doesn't need to. Recognition isn't the point. Restoration is. Her phone buzzes once more. Carla's message appears: B7 audit complete. Policies rewritten. You changed more than a moment. Amara types, a short reply. Moments become standards when we don't look away. She sets the phone face down. Outside, the aircraft surges forward, wheels rising from the ground. The cabin tilts upward, gravity loosening its grip. As clouds swallow the lights below, Amara closes her eyes. For the first time in hours, she lets herself rest. Justice has already taken flight. And this time, she's the pilot. Morning. 30,000 feet above the Atlantic. The cabin is quiet. The kind of quiet that comes after a storm that changed the landscape. Amara sits by the window, laptop open, the soft glow reflecting in her eyes. She's not reading the headlines, though they fill the screen. Black CEO detained, then redefines airport policy. Orion Holdings confirms executive response to racial bias. Number: Amara Blake, trending worldwide. She scrolls past them all. What matters isn't the noise, it's the clarity underneath it. Carla's name flashes on the incoming call. Amara answers. Morning, Carla says. The footage went viral overnight. Media wants a statement. Amara sips her coffee. What's the narrative so far? Half outrage, half admiration. Everyone's asking how you stayed so calm. She smiles faintly. That's easy. I stopped needing their approval a long time ago. Carla chuckles quietly. Do you want me to draft something for you? No, Amara says. I'll write it myself. She opens a blank document and begins to type. Her fingers move with purpose, not haste. Statement from Amara Blake, CEO, Airline Holdings. What happened yesterday wasn't an isolated incident. It was a mirror. Bias doesn't always shout. Sometimes it smiles and asks for ID. But when silence is used as a weapon, composure becomes rebellion. I didn't act out of anger, I acted out of memory. And if that memory changes how one person is treated tomorrow, then it was worth it. She stops, rereads, then adds one more line. To every witness who spoke up, thank you. To those who didn't learn. She hits send. The message travels first through satellites, then through headlines, then through people who've waited years to hear someone say it just like that. Carla texts a few minutes later. Perfect. Corporate approved. The world's quoting you already. Amara closes her laptop and leans back. The sunlight cuts across her face, warm, direct, unfiltered. She watches clouds drift below like continents of smoke. For the first time since the terminal, she smiles fully. Not victory release. The attendant passes by whispering, Miss Blake, we're landing soon. Thank you, Amara replies. She glances once more at her reflection in the glass. Same calm eyes, same steel beneath the stillness. And quietly to herself, let them quote it. But make sure they live it. The plane begins its descent, slicing through morning light. Down below, airports prepare for a new day, one where policy was rewritten not by outrage but by example. And Amara Blake, calm as the horizon itself, just turned a headline into a standard. 2 days later, Seattle. The city moves as usual, coffee lines, traffic lights, briefcases, but something invisible hums beneath the noise. Inside Airline Holdings, headquarters monitors glow across a glass-walled conference room. Clips from Gate B7 loop silently on screen, the confrontation, the calm, the reveal. Executives sit frozen, watching it again like they're seeing corporate policy evolve in real time. Carla Bennett stands at the front presenting the new directive Zero Tolerance Bias Protocol. Immediate implementation across all subsidiaries. She glances toward the door just as it opens. Amara Blake steps in. No press, no fanfare, just that same quiet presence that now carries global weight. Every head turns. The room rises to its feet. Carla smiles faintly. You've started something bigger than policy. Amara sets her bag on the table. Good. Then it can't be undone. Screens flash with incoming headlines, airline rewrites, training after CEO incident. Other carriers adopt Orion's new bias audit. Justice doesn't shout. Blake's words spark industry reform. Amara studies the footage playing in silence herself at the gate. The crowd behind her. The quiet collapse of arrogance. I don't like watching it, she admits. Carla tilts her head. Why not? Because it shouldn't take humiliation for people to learn humanity. The room stays still. One young executive new to the company finally speaks. Ma'am, how do we make sure this doesn't fade after the headlines die? Amara's answer is immediate. By building systems that don't need cameras to behave. Carla nods, writing it down. It will become the next internal slogan. A notification pings live comments from employees worldwide reacting to her statement. This isn't just a story, it's a blueprint. First time I've felt proud to wear this badge. Amara looks out through the glass walls, the skyline gleaming plains, slicing the clouds beyond. The same sky that once carried her away now feels closer, clearer. Carla approaches quietly. The press still wants an interview. Amara shakes her head. They already have one. It's every employee who speaks differently tomorrow. A pause. Then almost to herself, she adds, I didn't need them to see my power. I needed them to see their reflection. Carla exhales, half relief, half reverence. Then they saw it. The monitors fade to black, leaving only her reflection in the glass still centered resolute. Outside, the city hums unaware that its skyline just gained a new landmark, not in steel but in standard. And somewhere in another airport, a young attendant looks at a passenger who doesn't look the part and simply says, Welcome aboard. Evening settles over Seattle like a slow exhale. The city glows gold against the water cranes, glass towers, quiet streets below. Inside a corner office on the 38th floor, Amara Blake stands by the window silhouetted against the skyline she helped build. Her desk is clear except for one thing, a framed boarding pass from that flight. Gate B7. Seat 1 Ampere. She keeps it not as a reminder of humiliation, but of endurance turned into architecture. Carla steps in softly holding 2 mugs. Still here, Amara smiles. Still learning. They share a quiet laugh. Carla sets 1 mug down. The audit reports came in. 347 policy changes across our branches. Every division requested training expansion. Amara nods, absorbing it like data and emotion at once. That's not repair, she says. That's evolution. She walks toward the window again. From up here, planes cross the sky in small, silent arcs, reminders of the world that once doubted her right to board. Funny, she says. It started with a gate, but maybe it was always supposed to be a door. Carla glances toward the framed pass. You're gonna hang that somewhere. Amara shakes her head. No. I'm gonna give it to Dana. Let her remember what speaking up can do. Carla smiles. You really don't hold grudges, do you? Amara sips her coffee, eyes on the horizon. I don't hold grudges. I hold standards. The line sits in the air like a verdict and a prayer at once. Her phone vibrates a message from an unknown number. It's a photo, the same gate, new sign above it now, reading B7 Equality Priority Checkpoint. Underneath Dana's caption. We did it. Amara's expression softens. She types back, no Dana, you did. Outside, the last flight of the day lifts through the orange haze, wheels folding beneath the wings. Carla stands beside her in silence. For a long moment, they both just watch. Amara finally speaks, quiet, certain. People think justice is a storm. It isn't. It's the sunlight after. Carla nods slowly, and you brought the weather. The city lights blink awake one by one, each window, each reflection, a reminder of what changed when one woman refused to step aside. Amara turns off her office light, leaving the skyline glowing behind her. Her silhouette disappears into the elevator's gold reflection, and the voiceover closes the chapter. She didn't need applause. She didn't need revenge. She only needed the truth, and the world finally heard it. Because justice doesn't shout. It stands tall, and it stays. Fade to black.